Hello and welcome. This is Business Incorporated coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwago. Thank you for joining us. And coming up on the show, Nigeria's shoreline agrees a $530 million deal to boost oil output. Congo Republic plans to join oil cartel OPEC. Plus, ExxonMobil signs a deal for deep water oil exploration off Ghana. We'll get started now with the markets, and here on the African continent, the Nigerian stock market took a breather at intraday from all-time high recorded so far. The index dropped 1.45%, still high at 44,235 points. The South Africa JSE index was up 0.14% and Egypt was up 1.28%. Kenya closed in the red on Wednesday. In the Middle East, the stock markets mostly moved sideways at intraday, with Qatari food processor and livestock trader Wadam Food one of the few big movers as it soared after raising its annual dividend. Qatari's stock index edged up 0.45%, but Wadam jumped 9.1% in its heaviest trade for months. Saudi Arabia's index was down 0.19%, but National Medical Care rose 2.8% after saying it had signed a 300 million riyals contract to provide services for 3 years to GOSI, the Saudi Social Insurance Agency. Dubai's index fell 0.35%, with Damac Properties slipping 2.6% and amusement park operator DXB Entertainments losing 2.4%. In Abu Dhabi, the index was down 0.21%. And European markets were slightly higher in morning trade, with investor sentiment boosted by another record close on Wall Street. For other news out from Europe, I'm being joined by Daniel Cook, my colleague in Frankfurt, to give us details on those. Good afternoon, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Chimi, as well. I hope you're doing just fine. Before we are starting our program, I would also like to share a breaking news story that we are also following here in Europe. We have been talking about the Airbus 380 program already for some quite time, and that there is this fear that Airbus would be shutting down this project. They were saying if they would not get anybody new to buy the Airbus 380, they would be closing the program. Today it was announced, just a few minutes actually ago, that Emirates, the carrier already holding more than 100 planes of the Airbus 380, would be buying another 36, also with the option maybe to buy even 16 more. So very good news for Airbus today. It really seems that with this, for the moment at least, the Airbus 380 program will be still in power and saved.
So they have to pop a champagne there. Anyway, let's look at what the IMF chief, Christine Lagarde, is doing in Frankfurt today. Of course, she's meeting with other officials. Any idea of what they will be talking about?
Yeah, they're just meeting a few blocks here from here, actually away at the Hilton Hotel. She is here in town. The conference started at 9 a.m. this morning. Also at this meeting is the head of the German Central Bank and also very high members of the European Central Bank as well. Well, Christine Lagarde, the head of the International Monetary Fund, she really is calling Germany to invest more in the future, mostly also regarding to infrastructure. She was already writing this yesterday on her website. Now she is addressing this issue here as well. They are also talking more about that Germany also even needs to do some more financing when it comes here to the European Union. So this is those are the two big topics they are discussing there today, Jimmy.
Now, China's growth numbers came out today. What are German investors making of this latest news of China's growing drag on the economy?
Well, first you have to keep in mind that usually Germany needs at least some weeks and some months to release those GDP numbers. So investors here are always very surprised how fast the Chinese people are to provide this data. There's always this question how accurate those numbers are actually are. Well, the Chinese economy is again growing at a record level with more than 5%. We have to keep in mind that the GDP of Germany was recently announced at a level of 2%. So this is twice as much, even more than twice as much as fast here major economies in Europe are growing. But you also have to keep in mind that in order to have this growing in place, China is a country with a very high debt. This is making always investors a little bit concerned how healthy this is. But yeah, in general, at the end, this is also going to mean for companies here in Germany and also in Europe, most likely more work, most likely also higher profits, because China, for example, when you talk about the auto industry, is one of the biggest trading partners here of Germany. Volkswagen was just announcing yesterday new record sales numbers also in their market in China.
Right, Donna, just before I let you go, a quick one coming from Apple there. That company wants to bring a huge chunk of its overseas cash back into the U.S. How much are we talking about here? And are investors in Europe comfortable with this move?
Well, they're actually a little bit raising their eyebrows because the United States and Apple are not really known to be so keen on, paying lots of taxes here in Europe. So it's a little bit of a surprise for investors that now the company Apple is boosting themselves so much that they are going to be paying billions of US dollars when it comes to taxes. Of course, you also have to keep in mind that Apple is now also using sort of another discount, because this offshore money, this is money that is parked abroad, or that was previously parked abroad. They're only going to be paying taxes about 15.5%. But yeah, you have to say it's one of the biggest milestones also for the Trump administration after many reforms that did not go through. Lots of very positive headlines now for Donald Trump, because he always promised that during his campaign he's going to be creating with this tax reform lots of jobs. Apple now announcing that with this move of shifting the company or big parts of the company now back to the United States, they will be creating more than 20,000 new jobs in the United States.
Right, thank you very much there for sharing your thoughts with us, Daniel. Enjoy the rest of the day.